Good morning, everyone. Happy to be here to share a story. Today is more of story day. But like I said in my 60, it is also to show businesses opportunities on how you can be a part of it through advertising on the platform. So the Real Hernando podcast is something that I launched in February of 2022. And what it does and its purpose is to spotlight Hernando. I don't know if you could tell by the name of it. Kind of hit it right on the nose with that. But there is a story behind that name we're going to get into. But the purpose is to spotlight, the ministries, nonprofits. We've even had, some churches on some of these series on here. And to just shed light on them and to help promote their visibility and educate, like who's in charge, what's the purpose, who is it serving, who are they serving, how can people get involved by donating, volunteering, sponsoring. The episodes are about 45 minutes long, and it's educational, but it's also a conversational style podcast where I just sit across from them and get their story and help them try to make them feel comfortable in front of that camera. And it's awesome. And it's a full network. You can find this podcast on therealhernando.com. As you can see in the right-hand corner, it's promoted on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and TikTok. I'm going to scroll through in a few minutes. I'm just going to give you a visual of how that looks. So the Real Hernando. So in order to, I forgot to hit a timer on my phone, sorry. But in order to really tell the story, I got to give some context on my business. So in 2019, or rather 2018, I fell into the podcast industry as just a freelance audio editor, and was getting business through a website called Upwork.com and other forms of referral or just online marketing. And it quickly grew to the point where I wanted to scale up, start a business, hire some editors. So I started an official LLC in 2019 called Shelby Row Productions. And off and running, and just continued a virtual only business. I worked out of my apartment. I didn't have a studio or anything. And always wanted to move to Hernando too. I used to be a house musician at the Christ Covenant Church on Thousand Oaks, across the street from Gateway Tire. And a bass player by trade, really. That's what I've been doing most in my life for the longest period of time. And I switched Sundays with another bass player. So for several years, every other Sunday I was coming to Hernando. I was like, I love this place. I just wanted to move here. But as you all know, Hernando's a little more expensive than most areas. So it took me a minute, but I finally got here in the summer of 21. So as you do, you visit the farmer's market. And even though I lived in Memphis, I never made it down here for the farmer's market for whatever reason. But there's something about when you live in that town or city, then you just start getting involved. And I go there and I bump into my old friend Chris Lyons, who's a deacon at Christ Covenant. That's how I knew him. But he owns a boutique, a micro roasting company called Slow Roast Mississippi Coffee, and he had a booth there. You know Chris? Yeah. So we're catching up because by this time I had moved to a different position, a different church, a different job, and we're just talking about his coffee. And he says something that really just triggered something in my mind. It created a spark that eventually became this. And he told me how Area 51 Ice Cream uses his coffee for any of their coffee flavored ice creams, also having shelf space for them. And that just resonated with me. I was like, this is Mayberry. Like, what's going on here? This is fascinating. How do I get involved? I started asking myself that. How do I, just get involved in this community, but how do I make my virtual business, where my home office is the corner of my bedroom, involved? How do I break in as a local business? So first thought, of course, is, well, start a podcast. I didn't have a name. I didn't really have a real definition on what it would be other than, well, I guess I can interview people at the farmer's market. Really, it was just a germ of an idea. And it kind of just stuck there. Well, fast forward a week, and I want to change banks. Sorry, Community Bank. I didn't, at the time, didn't. I wanted to get away from Bank of America and get something local as for convenience, but also shake hands and get to know, an individual to hopefully build a relationship so I can get money, quite simply. And I met Josh Combs, and he definitely helped me out. But I was referred to Renaissance and to talk to a gentleman by the name of Robert Carter. If you don't know who Robert Carter is, now he's a regional manager, so he's not much at that location anymore. But he's also really involved in the community. He's the president of the high school football boosters club, and he was highly recommended. And so I got on the phone call with him, and he started asking me what I do, and I told him and gave him my website, and he found it very interesting. And so we had that conversation. We booked the time. Later that day, I show up, and he's got my website all on his screen, and he's just asking a million questions about what it's all about and what I do. And then I just bring up this germ of an idea I had. I was like, look, I have this neat idea. I told him the story about the farmer's market with Chris Lyons and how I might want to get involved. And this podcast could be a marketing arm for me that would kind of help break me in so I get some visibility, right? And then I tell him, and I'm thinking of reaching out to Hernando Happenings to maybe promote on that. And he was like, hold up, buddy. Hold up. And he's like, I just started a Facebook page called The Real Hernando as an antithesis to the negativity that we can often get on Hernando Happenings, as entertaining as it can be. It veers away from its real purpose, which was to help promote the community and businesses, events, whatever. But now, people complain about lines at Walmart. So he created a page to go against that. And I just instantly told him what I could do with that. The different ways a podcast can work and how I could build, in essence, a network that you see in front of you here for it. 45 minutes now into this meeting, we haven't even talked about a banking account yet. We've just started gelling. And if you do know Robert Carter, you know how easy it is to just fall in a conversation with him and really engage with him. Between the phone call and this meeting, he's probably known me a total of 60 minutes and gave me the page and just said, run with it. And I did. So immediately went into production and got with my team, started building the website and planning. And as you can see in the artwork, at the time I had this amazing designer on my team. And me and Robert found, some images that we felt were synonymous and iconic with Hernando. And the top is considered like the new, the bottom is history, and then the tiger is there to represent the youth that connects it all because of the sports, team sports. So that started developing somewhere in August of 21 and built it up to a launch on February. How am I doing on time?
3 minutes.
3 minutes. Oh, okay. Man, that goes by fast. Launched it in February and off and running. And it's a podcast that airs an interview every other week, bi-weekly, every other Tuesday. Let me scroll through here, show you some previous episodes. Shout out to our 2 Rotary Club members. Right now we're spotlighting the Rotary Club with the current president. Jeremy Hurst. And then in the past, you can see that we've spotlighted the Northwest Mississippi Community Foundation. We'll also do individuals that are special within the community. If you don't know who Kelvin Harrison is, he's a sophomore in high school, I believe, freshman, sophomore, who's plays in an adult semi-pro soccer league. So he made some big news and just a really nice kid and super talented. So I felt like he needed some spotlight. You got the Optimist Club, Ann Lunsford, who is the president of Precious and Pink, where she helps women that are coming out of prison and jail to reacclimate, sort of like a halfway house. But because of time, I'm gonna move along here. Let's show, for example, if you were to go to our YouTube channel. That's what it looks like on the YouTube channel. We're even on TikTok, if you can believe that. Nothing says youth like the Rotary Club. But so, all right. So how it's powered and how it survives, because part of the story, and I wish I had more time, was because of this podcast and the visibility it gave me and the connection it gave me, it literally worked on getting me involved in the community. Between this, joining the chamber, and going to ribbon cuttings, it offered me a lot of opportunity to get involved with the chamber board, along with Dr. Clay, and to the point where I went and pulled the trigger and opened up a studio this February, and gave me a place to now, a studio to record these interviews, where season 1, I was showing up to the business or organization's location, dealing with whatever light and sound that was given to me in that day. So, but overhead and just in general, but my business also builds podcasts for other businesses and everything. But because I upgraded, I knew that I wanted to build this platform to be monetizable through advertising and sponsorship. So I'm very blessed to say that happened. So I got together with Wesley Meadows last fall, and they agreed to it. So they're the title sponsor, which is you get one, that's only one room for one title there. They get a commercial at the beginning of the episode. And much like all of our sponsors, you're tagged and mentioned on all of our social posts and descriptions, and you get real estate on the website, as you see here. Plus the title, for them, their logo is forward facing on all of our assets. If we go down to the mid-level, thanks to 5M Services, Robert McGowan and Team Couch of Birch Realty, they're proud sponsors as well, where they also get an ad in the middle of the interview, in the middle of the episode, and again, mentioned and tagged everywhere. Plus, we do a monthly post on all our socials, giving big thanks to all of them, no matter what level, tagged, mentioned, graphic with all of their logos forward facing. And then down below, we have the sponsors, where they don't get ads, but they do get this real estate, and the tags and mentions and everything all the other levels get. So thank you to Brandon for being a part of it too. And this is something I'm very proud of. And the fact that businesses get behind it is humbling. And I feel like it's a win-win, because, the advertisers get real reach. Everyone advertises on radio, but this is a new medium that is very valuable and does get in front of people, in front of their eyes and into their ears. On average, on a weekly basis, through all of the channels on this podcast, it gets an overall reach between 15 to 20,000. So you're getting real value by advertising on this platform, but you're also, in a way, giving back to the community because of what it serves and what its purpose is. It's designed to help our city. So these businesses got it, and they got behind it. And because of them, it can be fueled. So if anyone, or you know of anyone that might be interested, that especially if they already advertise on radio, they get that part of it, but maybe need some education on how this can help them as well, send them my way. I have price decks, price tiers. I'd love to set up a one-to-one, 1 minute, okay, and give you more info. So